So, is this the rematch room, you may ask? Well, already? Not quite. Yeah, we have Mega Man 2 Robot Masters. They, other Game Boy games would do a similar thing, where you get, you know, two sets of 4 Robot Masters at one point, so kind of like Mega Man 7 and 8, too. Here, though, you don't get stages for the second 4. They just kind of show up here. Alright, I suppose. This is Bubble Man, if you weren't aware for some reason. He's weak to... In his debut game, he is weak to the Metal Blades and the Quick Boomerang. I guess I don't want to spoil the ones here. Unfortunately, none of the weapons we have at the moment are his weakness, so... Yeah, it's not like he's weak to the rolling cutter or anything. And you gotta awkwardly wait for the music to stop, and... move. You can't just wait there for the music to stop either, you gotta move onto it. So yeah, you get Bubble at mid-stage too, which is a kind of a... awkward. I feel like it's slightly awkward to have for the series, but whatever. Now, Heatman here is a bit more difficult than he was in the NES game. He actually will vary up his timing sometimes. Although if he's the Bubble Head, of course, you're going to damage him quite a bit more than he can damage you. But, you know, sometimes he'll come back at you far more quickly than, you know, than he usually does. Like, I usually try to go, as you can see, back and forth across the screen. But sometimes he'll get me as I'm running to the right. And if Atomic Fire, in the same games we have Firestorm. But, yeah. Atomic Fire is actually now the weakness of the next boss, but it's actually relatively unwieldy to use against him. So instead, we'll use his other weakness, the Ice Slasher. You'd think someone who freezes time wouldn't be weak to an ice thing, but oh well. And getting hit by him makes me immune to his Time Stopper for a second, so that's fun to know. Normally, his weapon, the Time Stopper, freezes all enemies on screen, and they cannot move. And I think in this game you can actually, I've never tried it, but you can actually, I think you can switch, you can pause while you use it, but not quite sure. Did not mean to start off the battle like that. Actually, let's test it out. The Time Stopper, that is. Okay, no, he just takes damage. Oh, at least it's good to avoid a single attack. It doesn't... It's his weakness. It doesn't kill him all the way, but it does take him down to half health, so... If you have trouble with him, it's a pretty good idea to use it against him. Thankfully, he's not actually as quick as he is in the NES game, so... There's that. Did I mention his name was Quickman? I have to... Gotta baby the viewers, you know? You gotta make sure that they know who everybody is, because they're too dumb to know for themselves. And yeah, don't worry, we don't have any stage left for you to actually use a Time Stopper in, so you're not wasting it. You might as well use it where you can. And it does not work on any of the other bosses. Speaking of other bosses, this is Anchor. If you ever heard of the Mega Man Killers, this is what he is. He has a weapon called the Mirror Buster, takes your shots, and reflects them back at you. He will move from one side of the room to the other. He'll either run, jump, or some combination thereof. Apparently, he has a rather gloomy personality, kind of just thinks about killing Mega Man, nothing else. And he's, you know, he's a warrior type. He can be difficult at first, but, you know, you can practice him. Ugh. Oh, at least I have plenty of lives left. The Mega Buster is the only weapon that is effective against him. Everything else will bounce right off. Well, okay, I guess the Time Stopper technically stops him, but it doesn't cause him to lose any health like it does with Quickman, so... Still applies. And yeah, you can be kind of unpredictable. You kind of want to get to the other end of the room as fast as you can. If you want to... Because, you know... You don't get a lot of time to react to him, unfortunately. Also, weird that a Robot Master designed specifically with us, with Mega Man in mind, is only weak to the Mega Butt. It's weak to only his signature weapon and somehow no other. So, weird how, I've never constructed a robot before, but that seems rather far-fetched to me. But, yeah, if you're paranoid about using up your special weapon energy, I guess it gives you a free pass. I really do like this design decision, though, where they give you kind of a more something of a rival in each game. And he gives you a health power-up, but it's the end of the stage, so you don't need it. Yeah. And the Mirror Buster, good weapon too, it reflects back projectiles immediately at the enemy, so we seem to use it quite better than he does. And with that, Wily evacuates that, and he enters the Wily Station. At least I think this is the Wily Station. Maybe that castle was. Well, one of these things is the Wily Station, and if you wait there, you'll get too long. You'll get, you know, hit by that jumping Sniper Joe. He can shoot from multiple altitudes, but he's also vulnerable while he jumps. So ultimately, he is the inferior of the two. And we have one more stage left. So yeah, the second half of our weapons. You only get one stage to use them in. Incidentally, our weapons energy has been refilled, so don't worry. Don't pay any mind to using it too much. And our fire weapons do not melt that, so don't try. Thunderbeam's pretty decent weapon for these guys. And yeah, it's a space station. If you think it's unique now, don't. They reuse we have 4 other space stations in the Game Boy series, rather. They're a little bit obsessed with them, and I knew that room was a spike room, but I didn't know it was also that. And oh boy, we have no rush jet, and I think you can see what we have to deal with. Although this isn't too bad, it's kind of, you know, just this. Wow, I almost met my doom there. Alright, we got another one of you. People kind of hate this stage. It takes quite a bit of practice. And I wouldn't say that this is a terribly difficult game, but it's actually a slight step up from the NES games. And unfortunately, I can agree with people who say it's for the wrong reasons. Ugh, I didn't quite make it there. I made it, but, you know, pretty poorly. So Bubble Lead appears to be their weakness of these supercutters. So, yeah, I didn't think it was terribly useful in the stage, but... Oh boy, this room. 1, 2... The third will be on the ground, and you have to time the one above it! Ugh! Also, if you expect carry to be useful here, it would be, but I'm not entirely certain I'll get that weapon energy back! And whatever you do, don't press the B button, or sorry, don't press the A button. The A button takes you back, it makes you do both stages over again. And a weird fact, it doesn't, you don't actually get the Mega Man 2 weapons back. So they kind of, yeah, if you thought you could have some fun using them in that stage, nope. Alright, usually I can time this. I don't want to use carry as a crutch, but... I swear, either the input lag, which I'm not used to because I usually use the 3DS one, is, you know, messing with me this time, or, you know. At least I hope the 3DS one doesn't have any input lag. I don't know if... I know it wouldn't have any input lag from the screen, but maybe the emulator on the 3DS would do such a thing. But, you know, it is obviously everything's hardwired. You don't have the wireless, you know, controllers that I may or may not be using, you know, not gonna... Alright, come on. Well, yes! And you know what? I'm too nervous. Or not nervous necessarily, but you know, too conscious of the penalty for failure for to do that. And that one there does something different, so. And if you want to avoid damage, move on the second block as quickly as you can. And, you know, avoid his hitbox on the second. You know, do something to kill him, unlike what I did there. Alright, this segment's not very, easy. Alright, I will... Yeah, I'm getting hit by every single one of them. This is, not very good, for me. Hop you. So as you can see, the bubble head in this game kind of arcs upward a lot more. So do keep that in mind when you aim with it. Yeah, kind of awkward to get to that one. Alright, I do need to use carry a bit more, so we'll unfortunately need to use that. Keep that refilled. Right, there's actually, you know, more Pippies in this room, so you gotta be conscious of that. I think they'll come in the direction that you shoot in, but I'm not sure. So the second screen you're safe, but for this third screen, yeah, you're unsafe again. You know, this music really sounds more like an ending theme. It's not really... It's a bit weird for a final stage. The theme for the previous stage also isn't the best. Also, Atomic Fire is the one that breaks these blocks. Unfortunately, I really don't like Atomic Fire in this game just because lack of color makes it, you know... Like, it's kind of more difficult for me to see which phase you're in, because of course you can charge it up to 3 different phases, and, yeah. Also, taking this path is a lot better. But yeah, the music from the previous stage, it was remixed in Mega Man 10 to pretty great effect, but unfortunately in this game it's kind of boring. Both of them are, really. No offense to those who like it, I'm sure plenty do. In general, this level had some of its elements of these next two, this stage and the previous one, not the next two, were used for the first DLC stage for Mega Man 10. So if it looks slightly familiar to you, that's where you're seeing it from. That also had Anchor, so if he's familiar, that's good that you see him again. And, so... Yep, final boss already, Wily Machine. The first phase is weak to Atomic Fire, but, I don't like using it. Because you also lose the charge if you get hit, which is interesting, because that didn't happen in the, NES game. Or, I don't think that happened in the NES game. I'm not too sure, because I use it so rarely that I kind of assume these things, but I realize I don't always check, because, yeah. So, that scene over there, I find it really amusing that the wheel cutters, or super cutters, I mean, are, They're so bad that the final boss uses them as a weapon. They're that fearsome. Now here, the Mirror Buster is the only weapon you can use to beat this form. And the only attack he has, other than this thing here, is that claw, and you gotta lead. It will, I think the timing is always, it's exactly the same every time without varying it, but you gotta lead it is sort of the problem. Thankfully you can kind of stay closer to it, and you know, you get another chance to dodge it, but you don't see it coming as quickly, so there is that trade-off. And yeah, that's it. As long as you reflect his shots back using the Mirror Buster, you're good. Although, if you lose all the energy for it, you have to start the boss fight again. You have to kill yourself completely to return to the beginning of the stage. And you don't have any special weapons or items to replenish it. So, unfortunately, yeah, awkward. Bit of an awkward thing with that weapon. Which kind of ruined the victory, that rant kind of ruined the victory, you know, graphic there, but with Wily, you know, groveling and the space station blowing up. But yeah, let's see who made this game. Susie, alright, I'm pretty sure he or she did a good job. I guess you're representing them with that, you know, enemy. Change key, so without an E, okay. So a cutting wheel. Okay, so sorry, those are not super cutters. That's a cutting wheel. A screwdriver looks more like a screw, but I guess that's the joke. So that's the super cutter. Okay, as getting the names mixed up. Emmental in both flavors. Gabriel. So yeah, Schworms. So in general, this game is kind of, you know, I have mixed feelings about it. I do like it. It feels like there's some effort put into it, so at the end of the day, I do kind of enjoy it. And it's nice to have a canon game which takes, you know, it uses elements from, you know, Mega Man 1 and 2 in kind of, you know, a new way. So if you played through that to death and you want something kind of different, I guess you got this. And you get used to the smaller screen after a while. Kaminari Goro, so that's the name of that thing. So yeah, we also don't have the actual developer credits, as you can see. They're kind of just, you know, this. Oh, hey, we get mugshots for the characters this time. You look okay? You look okay? You look a bit less than okay, in my opinion. I don't know, it's not the best. You look pretty okay. You're the same kind of as your Mega Man 2 mugshot, except kind of reversed. You look way too happy. And I can't tell if those pupils are flames. I don't know if that's intentional. Your boomerang could be a bit smaller, look a bit more threatening. And you're also kind of like your Mega Man 2 sprite. And yep, see, that's Anchor. Oh hey, the walk cycle is to the beat of the music. That's fun. So yeah, other than that, I don't have a whole lot to say. Meg, I think you're getting a bit of a blackout in your spaceship. But thank you for playing, presented by Capcom Letters. Good thing the power's still going to those. I guess it shows that you're not having a complete blackout. Unfortunately, I think turning off the game is the only way to exit the screen. So, yeah, you have a good day. Thanks for watching.